Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So I am jumping back on, and I understand I am absolutely unannounced at the moment. This is not my normal time, and this is certainly not the live stream I was going to do. This is kind of a follow-up to where, literally this is a follow-up from my last live stream where I was talking about the tragic death of Dan Wilcock. I then started to see a lot of videos about Dan Wilcock and some of the occult videos he was talking about, which got me thinking to an old video I did a long time ago. And I put together in the United Kingdom, the correlation between witchcraft, the occult, and the known sightings of crop circles. And what I said on that video was this is all together. So we've got Dan Wilcock, right, who's dead now. We've also got a couple of days ago Nick Pope. So also, you guys know that Nick Pope is a UFO. He's a UFO journalist. He's a UFO expert. He's British, and I'm starting to look at this now. And with the addition of the 11 scientists that have gone missing or are dead in the United States, this is now British scientists, British ufologists. My question is, how many more of these are out there? When I've been doing military analysis, if you get a fire at a substation and it's one, you have to say, all right, okay, well, it's probably just an accident, whatever. But when you keep getting fires and fires and fires and fires and they keep burning the same things, you have to then put all those things into the same bracket and start to look at correlation. Now, I know correlation is not causation, but if the cap fits, wear it. So I'm just going to touch on this as well. So for those of you guys who may or may not know, there's this guy called Nick Pope. He's also a UFO expert, and he died on the 8th of April, the 8th of this month. I think it was, well, I'm pretty sure it was the 8th of April, but it doesn't say that. He died on the 8th of April. Now, that was down to cancer, or was it? Now, I don't want to go down these conspiracy roads, but when these keep happening, you need to start asking those questions. So many people in this sphere are becoming, are dying or vanishing. So I've got a couple of videos to share with you guys now. I am revisiting this subject. Like I said, this is going to be a really short video. Right, let me share this one. So this was a message a couple of days ago from David Wilcock. Do I keep saying Dan or David? I hope I don't say Dan.
I'm excited to be here. Every day that I have on earth is a gift and a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that because, frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this and see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary, but you guys knew that I might still show up even though it was last minute and I've had a really rough week. That's kind of like every week, but somehow we keep on making it through.
So he knew, right? He knew about this and he's been reporting on it. And then 2 days later, he's dead. Okay. I just want to share this. I've got a few little videos to share with you guys. Not that one. This one.
To enslave us.
So now, look, guys, I'll be quite honest with you. I just thought this guy was, well, I just know this guy from talking about aliens and UFOs. Turns out he was talking about a lot more than this. So let's see about the other things, the occult that he's talking about. And look, guys, and I know this video is not for everyone, but it's just really sent shivers down my spine.
One of the things that I learned from whistleblowers from the Cabal itself is that they have to work within something they call the rules. And this is very, very important. The rules are a body of spiritual principles that they must follow in order to be allowed to exist.
Okay. Literally, when he's saying this, right, the first thing I'm thinking about, because I've spoke to you about it before, I'm thinking about the karmatic retribution, right? Karmatic retribution, where, and I've given you guys this example many times, okay? If I'm a doctor and I've got a medication and I say to you, right, okay, this medication is going to hurt you, and you come and take this medication, that's on you, right? If I say to you, if I'm a doctor and I say, right, I've got this medication, if you take it, it's going to cure you, and it doesn't, it sends you to the candy shop, that's on me. That's karmatic retribution. And that's what he's talking about now. And he's saying that, and earlier on in the live stream, I mentioned, maybe it was yesterday, I mentioned it a few times, that when Donald Trump was sworn into office, he didn't put his hand on the Bible. Tucker Carlson said that. So now you're starting to connect these dots yourself, right?
Now, what do I mean by allowed to exist? I mean that they are aware that there are benevolent forces that will prevent them from achieving their goals unless we give them permission to enslave us. Ultimately, the universe is intelligent, alive, and conscious, and it is benevolent. It is a benevolent consciousness. That consciousness does not allow the negative to succeed unless it is invited. So the Cabal has made a science, a very elaborate science, out of studying these arcane, occult, magical principles.
Just consider that, guys. Donald Trump did not put his hand on the Bible when he was inaugurated.
That allow them to get away with what they do. So they have to put out everything that tells you who they are in music videos.
So you know what I say to you guys? Listen, when I started doing these these online videos, I was mostly focused on military because that's my area of expertise. Military, guns, bombs, tanks, planes, trains, automobiles, tactics, 5.56, 5.45, 0.50 trains. Did I say trains? Drones. And I know that all the information you need to find out about anything military, it's all there, open source. It's easy to find. You just need to know what to look for. Then I started applying those principles to other things, and it's quite fascinating. And he's saying that all this information's out, and I've not got it now. I had it somewhere, right? I had a video. Allegedly, Madonna is gonna spill the beans at some point. Madonna has come out recently, allegedly, and said she was a member of this like high cult or whatever, and she's going to spill the beans.
In these Super Bowl halftime shows, the Grammy Awards ceremonies, they're out there showing you the truth. This is what people are going to have so much trouble with once disclosure happens, is that these people actually practice black magic, and they are very, very good at it.
So we've gone from, right, if you put this stuff into the same category, right? If you put this stuff into the same category, if you put the recent people that have died in the last series of months, you then start to build up like a really dark picture. You do, guys. You start to build up a really dark picture. Now, I'm going to share this one with you as well. This is David WILCOCK, on the occult and the cult of Saturn. Now, I've spoke this for a few times, but the reason I'm sharing this, I only recently watched that movie, Eyes Wide Shut. I'd not watched it, and it is terrifying. I think the original movie was a lot darker. So if any of you guys have watched that movie, Eyes Wide Shut, if you've watched the movie Eyes Wide Shut and you've been watching my live streams, I've got a friend and he makes movies and he tells you everything about what's coming in a movie. And as soon as that movie starts, they set up something to happen to that little girl. That's what they do in the movie. So I don't know if the ending was changed or they decided it was too dark. Anyway, let me you'll see what I'm talking about.
Red-headed.
Honestly, because this comes into the Epstein files now. Because there's a link over here. I need to put the Epstein. There's a direct crossover here to the Epstein files. I will stop this, and I'll give you the direct link.
Hear about?
I don't think he even knows that he's what he said.
The Illuminati. If you watch the movie Eyes Wide Shut, you hear about something called the Saturn cult and the Festival of Saturnalia. Why? Because these people trace themselves back to the progenitors who had originally settled on Saturn.
I am struggling with this, but let's just let it go.
So if you look in Eyes Wide Shut, when they're all wearing the masks, they do this dance where they go around in a circle, and that emulates the rings of Saturn orbiting.
So now I'm thinking, like, where we live in the village, they have like the maypole, and like they dance around the maypole on the bit of string. I'm like, is that like an ancient ritual? Is that like an occult thing? I didn't think it was an occult thing. I know the people who dance around it. I know they're not part of like some sort of secret society.
Because they trace themselves as the descendants of Saturn, and they believe that they're different from the rest of us, that they have extraterrestrial DNA that made them the gods. And that kind of is segueing into the next part of our talk. So there were a very small number of survivors when the moon was blown up, and they got out with only, apparently the story is, the moon was so badly hit that only a few of their damaged spacecraft got out, and their civilization on Earth was almost completely wiped out. So just a small number of them made it, and they crash landed on.
I'd like to know where the source material from this is. When I see these presentations, I want people to reveal their source material, where they got this information from. I'm not disputing it. I'm just saying I want to know where you got your information from.
On Earth, and they then interbred with humans, which they were specifically warned not to do. And this created what we call in the Book of Enoch the fallen angels.
Did I tell you I'm reading the Book of Enoch? I may have told you a few times. So I'm reading that at the moment. I'm at chapter 50 something. I may have not got to the point, but it does not mention Saturn or spaceships or moons in the Book of Enoch at all. I may have not got there, guys. I'm only on chapter 50, but so far it doesn't mention anything like that. So I want to know where this source materials come from.
Their offspring, their children most likely, the hybrids of their own form, which was about 36 feet tall, and native people on Earth became these 12 to 13 foot tall, red-headed, white-skinned.
Okay. Right. Now maybe I'm connecting so many dots here. When you start to look at this and you've got the brain capacity like I have, which is pretty much like if there was 10 to the power of 10 Einsteins, I'm pretty much there, right? No, I've been looking at this subject matter, and one of my, I guess, gifts is to be able to, put things together really quickly. That's why I give such detailed analysis on conflicts, war zones, and stuff. And the more I look into this, the more I'm connecting these dots all over. So there was a conspiracy, right? About the red-headed giant, the red-haired giant in Afghanistan. Now, if you guys want to look at this, the red-headed giant in Afghanistan, there's loads of conspiracy theories about it. Let me add, when I talk about that, I was in Afghanistan at that time. I was 100% I was in. Now, the way this conspiracy theory is presented is there was a team of special forces went in, there were fatalities, but they managed to kill it and bring it back, and it went. We used to have barbecues with the Delta guys, and like almost every Friday, and either they'd come to our camp or we'd go to their camp because we were the only ones who could get alcohol. That was in Kandahar, so it's called the Kandahar Giant. So I literally, when that alleged story happened, I was in Kandahar, right? with the US, you know, worked with US Special Forces, drank with US Special Forces, barbecued with US Special Forces. They used to do the same thing with us. I believe I would have heard something. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying I would have heard, I believe I would have heard something. Anyway, as the story goes with this Kandahar giant, literally he's describing the same thing. Tall, white skin, red hair. 12 to 13 foot tall. It's the exact same story. Then you start to look in the Epstein files with Hillary Clinton asking for information about the Gilgamesh's resurrection chamber. That was a tongue twister. So now you're starting to put all these things together from different literatures.
Humans, and white skin was not normal for the earth. And this is preserved in a book that the Vatican did not want you to read, that wasn't even found until the 1800s, but it's very old. It's as old as the book of Genesis, called the Book of Enoch. It's a very, very important text. And I'm going to be doing a lot more about this as I go on, probably writing it into my books. The Scottish explorer James Bruce discovered several copies of it in Ethiopia in 1773. It was translated in 1821. And Jesus quotes from this book in the New Testament, so he obviously thought it was pretty important.
So Jesus talks about the Book of Enoch in the Bible. What?
The key chapters are chapters 1 through 36.
I've read them. I'm on chapter 55, I think.
Called the Book of the Watchers. And it says that this man, Enoch, was Noah's grandfather.
So it was actually Noah's great-grandfather?
And that he lived for 365 years. So he was some kind of extraterrestrial.
No, okay, so no, Enoch wasn't an extraterrestrial. Enoch was a human. Well, from what I understand, Enoch was a human. And he was then taken by the gods, and he came back, and then he was an immortal.
Enoch acts as a messenger for what appear to be benevolent extraterrestrials who had threatened these people on Earth, the Watchers, with total destruction that became Noah's flood. But before the flood, before their civilization was wiped out again, because we're now talking about 12,000 years ago, the big Atlantic.
So you get this thing, this 12,000 years, right? 12,000 years ago from the big flood. And if you guys remember, I was on a video the other day, and I was talking about every 12,000 years, the poles shift. And if the poles shift, there would be a big flood.
And flood, they used Enoch as a messenger to kind of cut a deal with the good guys, the benevolent ETs, and say, would you please not destroy us? In this book, the Book of Enoch, it says that there was only 200 of them that descended. They became the fallen angels. Lucifer.
Yeah, so right in the beginning of the Book of Enoch, it's really difficult to read, and I am going to read it again. Once I've read it and got through it, I'm going to read it again, and I'm going to ring fence things I want to focus on more. But right in the beginning of the Book of Enoch, it's quite clear that there are 200 aliens. Might be aliens. There are 200 of these angels that look at that. Literally, it's quite graphic. They lust for the daughters of man, and they come down and choose for themselves wives. But like God, he gets really angry with them. He gets so angry with them. He casts them out.
Was one of the fallen angels. Interestingly enough, he was the leader. The insiders I've spoken to have said it's probably a lot more than 200.
So I don't know. In the Book of Enoch, the number 200 is very specific. Right, listen, guys, I'm literally just gonna keep this as a really short live stream. Literally, really short. I just wanted to throw this out there before, because I was going to come on and I was going to do a prepping 101 video, but this information that came down, it's absolutely insane. So just to give you guys a bigger picture, this guy, Dan, the guy, it's not Dan, is it? It's David. I need to change that. Sorry, that is quite, hang on, let me change that. Right, I need to edit that. David, I don't know why I've wrote down. So we've obviously got David Wilcock, who he's dead now. We've also got Nick Pope, who died, I think, on the 8th of this month. Now, two huge UFO researchers, they will, they've made it their life to talk to these people. I'm sure they've got inside information. I'm sure they can connect these dots a lot better than I can. I'm just looking at this thing that's happening. And earlier on, I said to you guys, I said, listen, all this story, it's all going to become connected soon. And I think this is going to be the biggest story. I don't know. And look, guys, I'll be quite honest with you. I don't know what's happening here. What I'm thinking now, and look, guys, this is going to be wild, all right? I've given you guys those goalposts, right? Where I've said, I don't know what's happening here. And I don't. I've said this could be Chinese sleeper agents taking out, key scientists, people who do deal with weapons, nuclear, anti-gravity propulsion. It could be Russians. It could be sleeper cells. There's a whole host of things this could be, right? And it could be aliens, right? Although, however likely you guys think that is. There's no reason. There is zero reason to take out, as a foreign government, there's no reason to take out people like Nick Pope, people like David Wilcock. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Yes, you could give the argument that, the Chinese are just, or whoever, the Russians, the Iranians, are just doing this to throw people off the scent. The reality is, it just won't. It's a big job, right? The risk of getting caught, I think, outweighs the job itself. Right, listen, guys, I'm not. Rocketeer is saying Nick Pope knew too much. They gave him. Guys. I don't know. It just seems really suspicious now. The amount of people who are being. Who are dead? Who are researchers in this field? Anyway, right, I am going to close this down. The crux of this live stream was supposed to be aliens and the occult. Now, this guy, David Wilcock, he's not just a UFO researcher, he's an occult researcher as well. He's put out some powerful videos talking about the occult, talking about the Illuminati. I don't know what it all means. I do know that I've done a video previously, and I looked at how most witchcraft and occult practices are in the same place that you find crop circles in the United Kingdom. I understand correlation is not causation, but if the cap fits, wear it. Right, listen, guys, I'm going to close this down. I'm going to close this down. This was just like a companion to my last live stream. I'm still going to try and get on today, although I think it may be unlikely. What time are we on? Yeah, it may be unlikely. I'm going to try and get on today and do a Prepping 101 video because the food shortages coming to the United Kingdom do look more and more likely now. So the wide... I'll put this on. The wide of the American Special Forces guy who went missing was interesting. I'll find the name on your next stream. Devon Stack did a stream on her. Right, okay, I don't know anything about that. 123 Parkhurst is saying we live in an age they can kill someone off and go heart attack and people will. Yeah, exactly. I heard about. So I'm pretty sure the CIA have a heart attack gun. I'm pretty sure. Let me Google this. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Right. Okay. So just quickly, let me just share this with you. So I knew there was something. Is there a CIA heart attack device? Information regarding a device capable of inducing heart attacks emerged during the 1975 Senate hearings of the Church Committee, which investigated various activities of United States intelligence services. During these hearings, testimonies and evidence were presented regarding the development of specialized equipment designed for covert operations during the Cold War. One such item discussed was a silent, electronically operated weapon designed to fire a small projectile containing a lethal substance. So this is your, hang on. So this was, right, while the existence of the prototype was confirmed during these congressional hearings, the historical record remains unclear to whether such a device was ever deployed in the field or used in specific operations. Right, quick question to everybody, guys, okay? If you were the intelligence service, right, if you were the intelligence service and you had a cancer device, a heart attack device where you could, I don't know, go and prod somebody with a device and you have a heart attack and it's a natural cause death, do you think they would use it? Do you think they would use it? I personally do. I think they would do it. And this is from 1975. So where do you think that technology is advanced to? You know, if the Americans had a heart, what is it? I think it's a... One such item discussed was a silent, electronically operated weapon designed to fire a small projectile containing a lethal substance. And it was that substance that then gave people a heart attack. So they're obviously going to use that, right? Absolutely. And where's that technology developed into? Anyway, right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am closing this down. This was just going to be a short live stream. I've already gone like miles over what I wanted to get this done in 10 minutes. Not a chance. Right, I'm going to try and get back on and do a Prepping 101 video. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. I might have to do that tomorrow. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on and you've not done so already, please hit those buttons, guys. Please hit those buttons. And I will catch you. I'll be back on at 8.